Deborah Cobalt Live and Little Italy podcast. And I'm honored to present to you today Eleonora Granata-Jenkinson, producer, and Andrea Pallaoro, director of one of the most magnificent films I've seen in a very long time, Monica. Just spectacular. And I believe that Monica received a 12-minute standing ovation at the Venice Film Festival. If that tells you anything, that doesn't happen all the time, people. Beautiful, beautiful production. Let's have whoever wants to start first talk to us about Monica. What is it about and the significance of this beautifully profound film?
Well, thank you so much, Deborah, to have us here. And I'm going to start. And of course, Andrea will be able to go much more in detail on how the creative choice and everything. Monica is about a woman who, after many years of being sort of far away from her family of origin, receive a call and decide to go back to help the family that was long detached from, and the mother, and help the mother, which is terribly sick. And Monica is a film that is born out of an original idea of Andrea Pallaoro. And he's a writer and director, and he's an artist in a very genuine sense of the word. Everything about Monica is being constructed, thought about for many years before it came to the screen. Monica is a journey that I share with my fellow producer for about 7 years. And it's been a labor of love. It's a complete independent film. And at the moment, we are trying to build our award campaign for our extraordinary actress, Trace Lysette and Patricia Clarkson. Monica is about abandonment, is about reconnecting with your roots, is about finding your own space and being accepted, and is most of all is about the family and all the dynamic and all the terrible thing that can happen in a family and the way to overcome them. Monica is about love and acceptance most than anything else. The theme that Monica touch are not just limited to a transgender and acceptance, which is like the main theme of the film, but is also about a woman and knowing who you are and respect and accept who you are, and in an environment which was like extremely hostile at the beginning. Monica is also about all of us that left home and had to, understand who we are at some point in life at the return when you go back home. So there are so many underlying theme, but most of all, Monica is an extraordinary, beautiful film, very special with choices, creative choice like the ratio, which is invented by our Andrea Pallaoro and Kathleen Arizmendi, which is the fantastic DP that we have. And is a film that enhances what to be a human and what to be a woman. So I will leave Andrea to go further, and well, here we are.
Well, let me ask you.
Sorry,
Andrea, no, of course. Andrea, this is loosely based on a story that you know, right? And
yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about the character of Monica, a trans woman, and her family rejected her because of that, which was very heartbreaking. And then I'm going to give a little bit away without a spoiler alert, people, without the spoiler alert. She goes home to care for her mother who rejected her, which was very painful to see. And her brother was there. And there's so many moments, beautiful moments. And what really captivated me, Andrea, was the way this was shot. Beautifully shot, beautifully directed, emotion in every single scene. And we wonder throughout the film, and I won't tell you much more, does the mother recognize her? Take it away, please.
Thank you. Well, there are many questions here. And thank you again, Deborah, for having us, because it's such a pleasure to be here with you and to talk about Monica, which is really, as Eleonora mentioned, a labor of love. It's a film that really stems from the desire and the need to explore abandonment, the themes of abandonment, the consequences of abandonment, the traumas of abandonment, you know, like what the lengths that we go to in order to heal those wounds. And it's I would, as you mentioned, it's a story that is heavily inspired by that of a very close friend of mine, someone that is very dear to me. I wouldn't say it's her story, but it offered me a parallel to explore those themes and to explore, as Eleonora also mentioned, you know, what it means to return home and to deal with the traumas of the past, and to forgive and to reconnect. And it's a film that really centers on performances, you know, and where a film, you know, in which you know, the performances are the focus at all times, and the cinematic language that my collaborators and I built around these performances was really always meant to find a way to invite the spectator into their internal world, you know, invite the spectator to penetrate their emotional and psychological world of this character, especially, of course, of the protagonist of Monica. And you know, like I would say that every choice that my collaborators and I made, every creative, aesthetic choice, you know, at its center had you know, the need to give the spectator the opportunity to have their own personal and individual journey, of not telling them what to do and what to think, but to allow them the opportunity to see themselves reflected onto the character and onto the story, and in that way get to know themselves better, you know, because it is in that process in which the spectator becomes such an active participant in the experience of the character that you know, we can experience cinema as a cathartic opportunity, you know, and that's what I look for, both as a spectator and as a filmmaker, you know, to achieve.
Trace Lysette, one of the most, I couldn't imagine a different actress playing this role.
Absolutely. And let me just tell you, like from the very beginning, you know, we knew that the most important choice we could make for this film was to find that person, that in this case, this actress, who was able to not only embody the character and bring her to life, but to contribute so intimately to the whole creative process. And you know, it was a very long journey to find her. You know, it lasted over a year, and we saw over 30 candidates for the role, and we really the search went beyond the US. It really went all over the world. And I have to say that from the very first moment when we met Trace, you know, I felt like that, you know, she could be the person, you know, I could go on this journey with, and I could sculpt this character with, you know, because not only she understood the character on such an intimate and profound level, but, you know, she had that rare quality of offering, you know, herself as a mirror for whoever watches her, you know, like it's something very beautiful that she has as an actress, you know, like the gift of being instead of having to perform in front of a camera. And Tracy is magnificent. Yeah.
And Patricia Clarkson played her mother. The entire cast was quite extraordinary.
Yes, and we have sorry.
Please, you know, describe sort of the connection. Anyone can chime in here, between the entire cast working together. It was very intimate, with the brother and the children that were also in the film. And, you know, I felt them. You know, how does that happen on a set?
Thank
How
you,
do you
because
direct that? Yeah.
it did feel, while we were shooting, it did feel like we were a family of sorts,
Yeah.
you know, with our cast, but also with our other collaborators, you know, with all the heads of department and the rest of the crew. But, you know, the cast in particular, you know, is composed by truly, as you said, magnificent actors, you know, like Patricia Clarkson, as you mentioned, but also Academy Award nominee Adriana Barraza, Emily Browning, Josh Close, who really gift us such raw, sensitive, beautiful portrayals. And they really work together to give us the portrait of a family too, you know, a family in turmoil, of course, a family that has to come to terms with their past, you know, with their own personal struggles, but also a family that ultimately it wants to heal, you know, and wants to find.
Yeah. Wants to heal and wants to love. Eleonora, we spoke off camera about the social impact of this film, especially with what's going on in this country, how divided we are with rights for people who are trans, with rights for women. Can you speak to that, about the importance of this film and social justice that it alludes to?
Yes, we didn't meant to have a politically charged film. We were set out to do a truth and a very delicate, intimate portray. We ended up having a real, obviously, because of Trace and because of the underlying theme of the film, it became, through the year, a sort of a call for battle, because in nowadays, it's a matter of survival for transgender. I mean, the rights of LGBTQ are attacked particularly in certain states of the United States, not only attacked, but really taken away. And there are cases, a lot of exponential case of despair and even suicide throughout the young transgender community, which now they don't have access to therapy and hormone. They wanted to take away their right to be whoever they are and whoever they want to be. And so Monica really represents today something to embrace, not just as an incredibly beautifully crafted and deep film, but also as a call for understanding what's behind the pain and the trouble and the right to be a human the way that you need to be or wanted to be or feel to be. And so I think that today what we wanted to do with Monica, it's really to represent the underrepresented and a cry for help, for understanding and for sharing and for making the right choice on a political sense. So I think that throughout the last few years, we are released from IFC. IFC is our domestic distribution company. And together with Trace and together with all the accolade and group and support, and we really feel a lot of love from them. And we, vice versa, wanted to lend ourselves to something that is, bigger than the film itself. Even if, as a filmmaker, we are not set out to do that, but at the end of the day, we want to embody and to represent and to also, call for help in this direction.
Yeah, you know, I would like to, sorry, Deborah. I would add something that, I do feel that, the attacks on the trans community, in particular, but all the LGBTQ community as well, are really grounded or they stem from, bigotry and ignorance in most cases. And I think that film has, a really great opportunity, to change that. And especially, by getting to know a character like Monica, you know, especially for spectators that might not have the opportunity to get to know a character like her. You know, I think that ignorance and that bigotry can really be won over, you know, and that's I think is the social value of the film, in addition to, you know, the creative and more personal ones.
To normalize, to make it feel like this is a human like me and you and every, you know, normalize, not singled out and make it look like someone different and threatening, but to show the dynamic of a family and normalize the presence of a beautiful woman that is into this journey. So
what's interesting to me is as I watch it and as I'm hearing the two of you, I'm getting a little bit of a tear in my eye for real, because it resonated with me deeply. I haven't been through that situation. I haven't had abandonment, but we've all had something else, right? That deeply touched us, whatever it is. And that's what I think comes through with this film, that whatever it is that we are all going through, and it's all of us, and it's something different for all of us. The way the film touches us, the true emotion of humanity, is what captured me. And clearly, the people who are giving it 5, 10, and 15-minute standing ovations, which I believe we also got at the SAG-AFTRA screening, right, this past weekend. What do you make of that, about all the people that are really deeply feeling what the characters are going through in this film?
In my opinion, if I may, it's the necessity to overcome and to forgive. There's so much division in this country, in the world, that when given the opportunity of us human to really find the connection and to find a way to overcome bridges in our mind or in everything, people really embrace that. I truly believe that given the chance of overcoming bigotry and ignorance, the people will take it. And particularly because we are not a film that, you know, say, teach you like this. Everything is so subtle. Everything is not exploiting emotion, is not extorting emotion from anyone. Everything is like you confronting face to face to something, and you do your journey, you do the path. And I think that given that opportunity, we had screening everywhere in the world, in every festival you can mention. We have, you know, standing ovation everywhere from the public, almost like they felt that is necessary to have something where we can overcome and we can really forgive and we can really understand.
Absolutely. I would also add that, you know, I think that Monica's experience is a very, very relatable one, because, you know, being abandoned, maybe not to the extreme that Monica experiences it, but the characteristics of abandonment is something that as human beings, we are all familiar with to a certain extent. And it's something that it's inherently human. And through her experience, I think we can all recognize ourselves.
Yeah, and it could be different forms of abandonment. You could be abandoned by your teacher. You could be abandoned through grief and the loss of a human being. There's so many ways, and that's why I think so many people are relating to this. And again, to circle back a little bit, the way that you captured that as a director was nothing short of brilliant, and I really mean that. Would you talk to me about the two of you? You've worked together before. This is not your first collaboration. You're an incredible team. Talk to me a little bit briefly about some of the other films that you've done.
Eleonora, well, we started our collaboration many, many years ago. In fact, I think Eleonora and I have known each other for close to, I think, 14 years now, right, Eleonora?
Yeah.
Long time.
He was very young, I was not.
So, no, but I was still actually getting my master at the California Institute of the Arts when we met. And at the time, I was developing my first feature film, and Eleonora was one of the very first people I talked to. I talked about it with, and you know, it's a film that, similarly to Monica, you know, explores you know, themes that surround the dynamics of a family. And in the case of Medea's, you know, this first film that we collaborated on and that we made together, it's in particular, it it explores filicide, and the need to control and those dynamics. But it was for me, it was a very, very important and meaningful experience because it was my first film, and I have incredible memories of working with Eleonora on it.
Let me ask. Go ahead. I was going to ask you a question.
I wanted to mention that we are both Italian living abroad and working and having our career in Los Angeles. And we find each other throughout the Italian community. And let's say no more community, but people that I know. I've been based here for more than 20 years. And when there is sometime, many times, people come to me and say, hey, can you take a look to this and that? And so someone gave me a common friend of ours, because Andrea is from Trento and I'm from Milan, but I have a lot of connection with Trentino, the region, gave me this short, and I was blown away because I see stuff from everybody send a script, everybody. And I look and I say, this guy is really, really special. So we started a journey that was like 14, 15 years ago, and it never stopped, the collaboration. I mean, when you find someone that really it's open to so much collaboration, although Andrea is like very firm in his choice, and thank God for that. He has an integrity that I haven't seen anywhere else. And maybe you can see like the big master like Antonioni and Pasolini, and see the choice that they make against everyone else, against the grain of what was more easy and logical. The path is very hard when you find someone who has a specific point of view and deployed in such a honesty and integrity. It's always more difficult than someone who can adapt to the market rules or anything else. So it has not been easy, but it has been extremely rewarding. So that's and hopefully we'll continue this path.
As filmmakers from Italy, what separates you as a director, as a producer, having been born in Italy and have the Italian experience throughout your body and the way you look at things? Could you address that?
Sure, of course. Well, I think that, everyone's, I mean, like as a filmmaker, we need to, or at least what makes our work valuable is to offer the opportunity for someone to see the world through your eyes, and the specificity in which that can be conveyed, I think is really what makes, at least for me as a spectator, something more or less important, or makes me more or less hungry and thirsty to go after the work. So, in my case, of course, my life in Italy, I lived there until I was 17 years old, and my experience there has had an undeniable impact on my point of view and my identity and who I am, and has forged really has framed at least my way of looking at the world.
Can you address that as well, Eleonora?
Oh, well, by being an Italian living in America, you bring with you what is your, background and cultural, upbringing, and your reference, your point of cultural reference that inherently you bring with you in the job that you do. It is particularly for a producer. I have a background being a film executive in studio and also in independent film, but it's really hard. You're not part of the gang. You haven't been in school or in university with anybody. You speak a language and you have an accent. It's not easy, but it's also very valuable, particularly in the last few years. The fact that you can bring a perspective, and you can also bring a knowledge about what is out there that can be functional to putting together, a budget and a fund, because you can bring, specifically in this film and the one before, you can bring capital and subsidy and soft money from other countries. And now it matters very much, particularly in independent film, the fact that you can access co-production treaty, tax credit and everything because of your nationality and because you bring in and bridging the two forward. So it was very, very difficult, but now you have much more value in that.
As a woman, as a woman with an incredible career, you've worked for some of the biggest companies, largest companies for many years, right? If you want to list some of them, that'd be terrific. But do you find it getting, if you will, the doors are opening more for women in film?
No, of course not. You know, it's like it is. I don't know. I mean, I haven't, you know, been singled out specifically. I cannot point out one single episode. But being a foreigner and be also a woman is not, you know, giving you any advantage immediately. And now it's so much better. But through the years, I've been, you know, I know that I could have had and I should have had, and I know that I didn't because, you know, one of the guys, you know, took it, you know, and I'm talking not just in a studio or in film, but I'm talking about as a producer. You know, it's just like it is getting better, but it's a long way, and we can have like a, you know, 2-hour conversation. I don't want to impede on this, but you know, it's getting better. It's getting better, and but we have to still, you know, fighting for it. What I don't like about necessarily is the fact that you have to have everything woman, you know, even if sometimes on a creative standpoint, someone which is not a woman would have, you know, have maybe, you know, more attention. That I, you know, but it's necessary. It's necessary today to go overboard a bit in order to try to balance off things.
Now, I know that you're looking for sponsorship to fund an Oscar campaign. There is Oscar buzz about this incredible film. Absolutely deserves to be at the top in a variety of categories. I will tell you. Can you address that? What are the hopes for this beautiful film, Monica?
Shall I do it?
Yes, like you should do. But for me, I really do believe that, you know, in particular, Tracy Lysette and Patricia Clarkson, you know, gave such raw and sensitive and powerful performances that, you know, having traveled the world and having seen people from all different walk of lives and experiences, you know, like react to what they gift in these roles, you know, has been remarkable. And you know, it would be incredible to see them being recognized for it.
And you hang on, you as well, because the direction was really had so much to do with the feel of this film. It all worked together. But I'm going to put you in that category as well, Andrea. Quite sincerely. Go ahead, please, Eleanor.
To recognize the dirty secret, which is an open and a secret to everyone who works in the film business, is the fact that to have a qualification and to be able to run an Oscar campaign, you must have the funds necessary to be in front of the voting member, to have money for, you know, organizing screening, extra screening, maybe a party, maybe, you know, other, you know, advertisement on the trades. And this not coming for free. And that's why with our distributor, IFC, they did so much, but they don't have in their, you know, cord to finance and to bring in the kind of capital that are necessary. The other studio, it's like film independent. So what we decide to do is to embrace Film Independent Association, to make Monica into a fiscal sponsorship, which means that whomever want to donate for our campaign will be able to deduct tax deduct the investment or the money and the contribution. We have our first fundraising on November 7, a Red Bird restaurant in downtown LA, who generously lend themselves for this event. And we need to collect, we need to have people donating. Otherwise, no one is going to know that our beautiful film and our extraordinary actress and our, jewel of a director have a chance, because no one knows, no one votes. So it is, an absolute necessity for us to raise fund for the film. And we have this additional, bonus, which is the fact, okay, you invest, you can get the money back in a tax credit. Some, not all of that. I think it's like, I don't want to, shoot a number, but 95% you should be able to get it back. So hopefully respond.
How can, before I let you both go, how can people view Monica? Would you let us know briefly? Go ahead, and I'll give that to you, Andrea.
Well, the film now can be watched on Amazon, on iTunes, on AMC Plus. So there are different platforms where the film can be seen. And also there are different screenings organized still around the country. So that there are still chances to see it on the big screen as well.
Yes.
Thank you.
We also have to rally the Italian community to have more screening, and collect the goodwill of fellow Italians, since you are with the Little Italy podcast and more.
That would be magnificent. I think all Italian groups really should support one another, and the efforts that we're putting out there and the effort that you're putting out there for this absolutely tremendous film. And anything I can do, please let me know throughout this entire process, because I'm a big fan of your work and an incredible fan of the film. I told you, I watched it multiple times. I would have friends come over and I said, you know what? Do you want to watch this film with me? It's been multiple times, and each time there's a different feel for me. So big fan, and I'm here to help in any way that I can. So thank you both, Eleonora, Andrea, for joining our podcast, Deborah Cobelt Live, and our Little Italy podcast. It's been a joy and a pleasure. And please, we will put our information about how people can donate, and also about the upcoming fundraiser. It's very exciting. And I hope to talk to you both again soon too. Be great to do like a round robin with all the actors, someday in the future, if that could work out. So thank you both very much. I am your host, Deborah Zara Cobelt, and we'll see you next time, everybody. Ciao, ciao.
Thank you.